North Bank. This is the Matchday preview. Arsenal versus Burnley. So, good afternoon. It's Saturday and game day is upon us once again. So the disappointing end to the Carabao Cup on Thursday means that we can now solely focus on Premier League action, and that's all we have now to work on. So yeah, it's a massive weekend, I think, for Arsenal. When you term, say, like the fixtures, that's happening. Obviously, United have just got lucky and beaten West Ham in the last minute. But we then take on tomorrow at Burnley, just before Tottenham travel to Chelsea. So really big game there, and pivotal in that little top four race. I think there's still a lot of football to be played, but again, it's a big game between those two, and if we can't take advantage of the games that come our way when those kind of games are being played, then we're not going to get there. But we need to make sure we take maximum points against Burnley. And we struggled last year against Burnley. We lost 1-0. So we want to right some wrongs. And what better way to do it than tomorrow, making up for the semi-final defeat. But again, it's just a chance to it's the last game. There's going to be then not an international break, but a little break until our next game on the 10th, I think it is, of February against Wolves. So there's going to be massive impetus to get this game on. Burnley obviously had a week to plan, to get players ready and fit. So we don't know what state they're going to be in, but we know that we're struggling midfield wise as well. So we need to make sure that we're on it. And to be fair, I don't think there's going to be a huge amount of changes from Thursday. Now, I know that there were some players that looked like they were struggling for match fitness, but what better way to rise above it than get back on the horse and ride again. So yeah, I can see everyone playing tomorrow. I know training wise, some players have been out from training. So yeah, my guess is that we're just kind of being a little bit precautious on them and just wanting to really kind of just nurse them through this little period, and then we get off the little break, and then we can see where we are after that. But this little break will give us a massive chance to nail down any new signings, for one, and get that fitness back up, because that's what we're now struggling, and that's the thing that's kind of making us really struggle at the moment, is the inability to have a balanced squad with those players that we need playing. There's nothing else that we can really do. It has to be those players. Yeah, we haven't got a big squad, and so if we're taking out those players and having those players that aren't fit through coming back from injuries, then we are going to struggle. And yeah, I think it will come at a good time to refocus ourselves and to get back to a bit of normality. And if we can pick up a couple of players in these next 9 days, then great. But if not, then that's what we've had to do. We've got rid of a few players. That potentially could be looked at as a step in the right direction, because one thing that's been our problem is getting rid of players or getting them out the door. And if we can, then that means we can carry on, and we can then look at the summer, and then that's the next rung on the ladder to then go and hit. But if we can do everything to get certain players in January, then we need to do it, because it's going to be one hell of a hard job in the summer. I'm talking about even that Vlahovic. I'm talking about any kind of striker. If we go into that summer where we've got strikers that are leaving, those prices are going sky high. They're being rocketed because they know that we are desperate, massive need. But yeah, it is a new game. It's a time to let ourselves go and show what we can do. And with those players that we had out on Thursday, they've got a lot to show and a lot to prove, because they can do it. And they probably didn't like coming off that pitch in the way they did. But you just have to hold your hands up and just say, we're not good enough or at this minute, and certainly on the day. Because we can match them. We can match any team on a given day, but play that same game 8-9 times, then we probably would come out of it on the wrong side. So yeah, Burnley, and they got rid of that Wood. So it's a really funny meme actually saying that, and going back to their ground, and it's actually from a Blackburn fan, and he was like just showing the seats and like the wooden seats in their ground, and still got wood, and so just really just funny just to see it. But they got rid of him. 25 million pounds for him, and he's obviously getting on as well. 31, I think he is. But they haven't bought a player in that I know of. But they obviously, I'm not sure they could do a lot about it, because it was obviously the fee that was triggered. So they've been left short. But we have to see what they throw at us at the end of the day. They are going to be physical. We know like Sean Dyche is going to really, really build them up and big them up to put in a performance, and to make sure that they are really hard to beat, because he don't like Arsenal, and we don't particularly like him. I think, and just if Arsenal show the form that we can do, and don't forget those players come back, they've had 90 minutes now in them. It still isn't enough, because they still have to have the training, but that would have helped them. As hard as it was, it would have helped them through what's going to come. But I think it'd be nice to see Chambers come back. Whether or not he comes back in, because he may still have some question marks over Tomiyasu. And with Cedric being out as well, there's no one really there at right back. So the potential could be that he does play Chambers at right back, but there could also be the option that he may stick Chambers, say, in that defensive midfield. There's an option that we haven't explored, and he hasn't, whether or not he trusts that belief that Chambers could potentially do it and in the system, or not. But maybe we go with the same setup as we did on Thursday, and we see where that takes us, because there isn't going to be a huge amount of change on the bench. Yeah, we're going to have like 2 or 3 players that will be proper first team players. You're looking at Holding, you're looking at Nketiah, but again, they're not players that will change a game. So it may be, I don't know. Like I say, the importance of this weekend would dictate that it is going to be his strongest team, and you could argue and say he could potentially stick out a few more youth players, and obviously everyone were angling to get him to play Tottenham with a load of the youth players in that higher atmosphere, that scale of game. It's not a good thing. Not a good thing to do. Subject those young players to that, and there's got to be a time and a place for them to be blooded in, rather than just being chucked to the wolves. And yeah, like I say, Tottenham expected a shoe-in and wanted a shoe-in, and that was it. They saw blood and sensed blood with us playing a weakened side, and they just gutted that they couldn't do that. So against Burnley, perhaps there is the scope for us to be able to put in a couple of the younger players. Not saying that, yeah, it's a must, but there is the potential that we could try and blood them into a home game with a point to prove as well. Go and show me what you can do against a team that may be struggling, certainly for numbers. And yeah, you might suddenly see another player coming through the ranks that's then really, really showing something. But there's got to be a right time and a right place for that, and to blood them would be very good to do. But Mikel Arteta has got a fair understanding of what he has at his disposal, and if he thinks they're good enough to play, then he'll play. But again, there is huge importance on this weekend to go into this break 3 points, with the possibility of Chelsea and Tottenham dropping points as well, or one of them. Then it makes it a bit more easier to go back into football action again when we start up against Wolves, which isn't going to be an easy game either. Going to Wolves away. Yeah, if we can match that up with a very good performance there, once we restart, then great. But it will start us on the right foot, and that is to get the highest amount of points that we can get, and that's all we need to worry about, making sure we get the most amount of points to help us. Places are irrelevant, really, in all honesty. Go out and win as many games as we can and get the games done. Evaluate at the end of the season where we fell short, what we need to improve on. Then we can assess what are the next steps, and that will be for rebuilding the squad. What do we need to add? And we go again into the new season. But he knows what we want or what we need, and it's clear. So yeah, I'm hoping for some positive news in the next 9 days. But knowing Arsenal and knowing the way these big transfers are and have been, Ozil, look at, I think even Sanchez was like real last minute, wasn't it? They go on and on, and hopefully by the end of the month we'll have a bit of positive news regards to new signings and players coming in. But we have to get behind the lads and push them through this game, and then we can have a little break, and then let's get back to finishing the season strongly and cheering Arsenal on, hopefully to the highest position they can get to, would be, say, the top 4. I got no doubts. If other teams are gonna kind of mess up, which they have recently been doing. Man United, you look at Chelsea now dropping a few points. There is potential, but is that going to last for long? And the consistency will start coming back up again for these clubs, and we've got to be there to match them as well. And we know we're probably not going to be as consistent as these other teams because we have got a younger set of boys or men, but we'll be there. We'll be there if they decide to mess up, and we have to move on, and we move on to next year, and we build on further. But yeah, I think a 2-0 win for tomorrow. So yeah, I'm going out on a limb. I really hope. I hope we obviously have a good performance with that, and 2-0 will be a decent performance. I'd be well happy with that, just to take away a clean sheet and 2 goals. So yeah, let's get behind the guys at the Emirates, and yeah, let's cheer them on again, and let's go and get this break out of the way, and then get back to football, because breaks are boring. But up the Arsenal.